right. Okay. Like I said earlier, for you to create a class, you must have a project, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing you do is click on File or the folder, or you can go on, to these three dots if you have been using the IDE before. Click on the three dots. You click on New. You have project. You have project from existing source code. If you have source code like the one that have been treated in the class by our advanced software programming tutor, you can open it directly to your IDE. So you have projects from version control, that is from GitHub, Bitbucket, and the rest of them. Then this is module, our module from existing class. There's more of folder and the rest of them. Then this one is for Kotlin, Jetpack Compose UI architecture. If you want to create an application that runs mainly either on desktop or on mobile application like Android, because Java has some limitation when it comes to creating static applications with the new technologies that runs on mobile. So it has some limitations. So that is why the idea of Jetpack Compose comes in. Scratch file, just a normal file. Data source, you can get data source from all these technologies that you have here. DDL data source from URL, data source from path and driver. So we are interested in projects for now because we are still on the basics of Java programming. So click on project. Now you have under the project, new project, you have Java, you have Kotlin, you have Groovy. These are the popular language that you see in IntelliJ IDE. Java is for Java programming. It runs with, what do I call it? It runs, for you to have Java in your system, you must have JDK installed. Then Kotlin is installed on top of Java. Is that clear?
Yeah.
It's installed on top of Java. Just like when you want to create, how do I put it? When you want to create a kind of iOS application, you need to learn either that language and you run it on Flutter. Then Flutter is the framework. So Kotlin is a language, not a framework, but it needs, for you to run Kotlin, you must have Java installed. Kotlin is just an extension of Java. So with time, if we have enough time, we can go through it. Then Groove is a language on its own. If you want to run program on Groove, I don't use, I'm not I don't have any proficiency in programming languages in Groovy. Then when you talk of this, the compile framework, you have Maven, you have Jakarta EE, Spring Boot is a framework also. Java Spring Boot is for web, Jakarta EE and Spring Boot is for web applications. Then the Java FX is for desktop application because Java has limitations in creating, if you are not technical, you in creating front-end applications in Java, you can use Java FX and compile it. There are rules on how to compile it. Focus is also a framework. All these things are framework. We have Micronauts, we have Ketor for Kotlin. Compose multi-platform is for also Kotlin. When you have an application that runs on different platform, you use Compose multiple platform to create application that will run on Android, desktop, and iOS with one source code, one instruction set. It will create like 3 different applications for you. Then HTML, you know what it does, is the framework or is the foundation of every website. of every web page. You all know that one. React is also a library, not a framework. They're mistaking it for a framework. It's a library under JavaScript. Express.js is a framework for back-end application. Then that of Angular CLI is a framework for what? JavaScript. Android is an SDK for creating mobile application. Then Vue.js is a framework for JavaScript for front end, and React is also for what? JavaScript. So, but we're interested in Java. So we can select Java, okay? Now,
Yeah.
the name of the project matters. The name of the project matters. And when you are defining the name of the project, it must start in capital letter. For instance, we want to look at the basics of Java. We can name it Introduction to Java, like this. Introduction. Then either you write it together or you put hyphen, but I prefer you write it together. The next one is to. That it will be in capital letter, then Java, Java. Eh? Now,
Yeah.
where do I want to save this? By default, IntelliJ has a location where it saves it in your system, either document or under user part. It has its own IntelliJ folder directory, but recently my own changed to desktop, okay? So I can decide to create a folder here. Let me change it. Let me look for a folder in desktop. Okay. I'll put it in coding folder and click OK. Eh? Now, for create Git repository, I will allow you to do that because you have been introduced to GitHub and you have Git installed in your system so that whenever you have issue, you can collaborate with your colleagues if you are employed as a software developer and your problem, the error can easily be tracked, okay? Now, that of build system is very, very important. But for now, we are using IntelliJ build system. We have Maven build system, just like a wrapper that wraps and packages it into one folder. Maven is what most companies use. Gradle is if you want to create a kind of application that uses the framework of Android, then but mostly they use what Maven because it's very, very effective. So you can leave other ones the way it is and click on create project. Automatically, it scans and creates the project for you. It will ask you, do you want this to open on this window or new window? Because I don't need this class for now, this project that I have here, this Friday project I have here, I will click on this window, okay? Once I click on this window, it opens, right? Now, by default, Java comes with a main class. It comes with what? A main class. So the main class comes with public class main. This is the name of the class. This is the main method. You can see the printed hello world using printf. Okay. Using printf, they printed what? Hello world. And they passed it through a for loop and they now printed it again. So if you run this program, it will print multiple times.
It's showing error somewhere.
It will run, it's still building. Okay, you can see it now. It says, hello, welcome. I is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a kind of testing the application to see if it's working. So, but we don't need this. We delete this. Let's learn how to create a class from scratch. So I will safely delete this and click OK. Now, if you want to create a class, some IDE like Eclipse or Eclipse, most especially if you are creating anything, you are creating from scratch. So during the days of Eclipse, we didn't have IDE like IntelliJ. So the most friendly IDE then was NetBeans. That you once you create it, it will automatically how do I put it? Automatically create a class for you. It was a kind of friendly for everyone then. So for you to create a class, you right click on this SRC folder, you click on new, you click on class, okay? And I want to call this class a basic, and hit enter. Now it creates a class known as what? Public class basic. It now asks me, because I've connected my IDE to my GitHub account. It asks me, do you want to add the following file to Git? I say add. I'll click on add. It add this upon automatically. Okay. Now we say that Java is what? An object-oriented programming language that we use to solve our what? Real world problem. Eh? Now, it's an object-oriented programming language that we use to solve our real world what? Problem. What it means is that most of the variables you see in Java, apart from the primitive variable like int, float, the rest of them, most of the variables you see in Java act as what? Objects. Variables like string, variables and arrays. You talk of linked list, you talk of trees, all of them, they act as what? Objects in what? Java. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, yes, you have a question?
Oh, repeat that part you said.
I said that most variables, apart from the primitive variables like integers, the floating point numbers like float, the double, the long, the Boolean, that of car, and we have other one, byte, are not regarded as objects. But when you talk of string, you talk of arrays, you talk of tree, you talk of linked list, they act as objects in Java. That's why we say Java is an object-oriented programming what? Language. Another thing is that it makes use of what? Inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction in manipulating what? Operations in Java. So as time goes on, we'll look at the concept of what? Polymorphism. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, to print your first program, hello world, you type public static void main. In bracket, you put string args.
He is raising.
Okay. Yes, what's the question?
Proceed.
You can move to ask a question.
Oh my God. I've been trying to ask a question since the last 5 minutes. I sent a message on the chat, but
Sorry.
you told us you didn't check. Sorry.
Okay. I asked.
I don't want to take us back now because
Okay. Ask, go ahead. You have the right to ask question.
okay, thank you. So it was from when we were creating the project. I wanted to ask what was the difference between Maven and Spring Boot?
Okay. Maven is just like a kind of wrapper class that packages all your program into one source code. Is that clear?
Okay, more like a compiler, right?
Yes, the build system. Thank you. We call it the build system or compiler, but it's not a compiler. Is that clear? It's just a build system that helps to package your source code into a source into one package. Okay. before the introduction of Maven, if you create programs in Java, I think that was when we had default dependency injection and the rest of them before the introduction of JSP, from introduction of JSP to Spring Boot. If we have time, we shall look at that. You have to write your program, you have to zip it and now deploy it on the web. But if you write your program and compile it with Maven, you can easily deploy it on the web. Is that clear?
Okay.
Now, that of Spring Boot is when you want to create a software that runs on the web, maybe especially back-end softwares, back-end server systems, you want to create it and you don't want to use the older technologies, you use Spring Boot. Spring Boot makes it easier. It's a different topic on its own. It makes it easier for you to restructure, just like you have Nest.js. I don't know if you viewed Nest.js in
Yeah, I know Next.js. I know
okay. Now,
Next.js.
just like you have Nest.js, you can use it to restructure the flow of your instructions set in Java. Maybe you want to create a login platform or a CRUD application in Java. So you use that Spring Boot to create how your program runs. You mainly use it to write APIs in Java. Is that clear?
Okay.
Any other question?
The thing is, I just resumed. That was last week, and the first class I attended was on Friday. So I do program. However, I'm very much familiar with JavaScript and not Java. And I use VS Code as my IDE. So coming to Intel, is this IntelliSense or
IntelliJ.
IntelliJ? I don't know what the similarities between IntelliJ and VS Code, because I'm very much,
VS
familiar
Code
with
is
VS
also
Code.
good. VS Code is also good, but VS Code is mainly for web applications. That's just true. And then IntelliJ can run web application as well, but it's mainly for Java, Kotlin, and Android application.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Okay.
It can run other web application, but it's mainly for Java, Kotlin, and
Java.
Android. Yes,
Okay.
application.
So do you mean to say VS Code can't run Java applications?
It can, but it has some complication. It does still integrating it. VS Code was proposed. It was created for JavaScript when it started. You understand?
Yeah.
Before it started, they had a lot of team members that are working on different different topics. So as time goes on, they keep on integrating it.
Okay.
That's just it.
All
Any
right.
other question?
Thank you. Thank you. That's all.
All right. Now, having created this public static void main, I will explain it one after the other. Okay. Now, this public is an access modifier. An access modifier gives you permission on how to get information from a class. Let me put it in a layman's way. It gives you information on how to get permission on how to get information from a class. Let's use this scenario. If you go to school now, right, you have direct access to the student center, right? You have direct access to the shop, the open space in front of the library, right? Nobody queries you, right? But when you want to see the vice chancellor, there must be an appointment. Am I making some? Okay, there must be an appointment, right? Now, when you want to see your lecturer on any day that you don't have any class, maybe you want to see DevOps lecturer on Wednesday, you don't have class with him on Wednesday. You do what? You book appointment with him, right? You send him a message. He will not he will not agree with you that you're supposed to have appointment on Wednesday with him. So for instance, you have full rights to go to the student information center and lay a complaint anytime or during the school hours. You have full access to go to the library. So let's consider that one as a public. No, that of library is different. Let's consider that of student care center as public what? Access modifier. Eh?
Okay.
Then protected. When you talk of library, if you go to library, you must go there to do what? To read. You don't make noise, right? There is a method of accessing materials in the library, right? Eh?
Yeah.
So you have to log in with your username and password. You have to swipe your card before you go to the library and read. So that is protected access modifier. Private, that of vice chancellor and your lecturer on the day you are not that you don't have any lecture with him. You book appointment. It's known as what? Private. A kind of access modifier that provides how you it provides instruction on how you access information from a method. Maybe as we go on, we are going to treat them one after the other. Is that clear?
Okay.
You understand this one?
So, right.
Okay. Now static
Thank you.
means that it is
I didn't see it yesterday. Yeah. Okay.
static means that it is dynamic. It means that it is what? Dynamic. Is that clear? Now
Okay.
void is the return type. Void is the return type. It is not giving out anything. The main means that it is coming from java.lang library. The main class is coming from java.lang library. You talk of string in array form. This is array. When you see something that looks like this in Java, it's array. If you are coming from C++, C programming foundation, you understand that this means what? Array when you see this, okay? Especially when you talk of pointers and the rest of them. So this is string in array form. Is that clear? So
Okay.
that is the meaning of what we wrote here. So let's declare our first variable, or let's just print our first statement using system dot out dot print line. We say welcome to Java class. Okay. If you run this program here, you can choose to click here, or you can choose this one and click current file, and you run it this way. Okay. You wait for your program to build, your compiler to build your program, because I'm using IntelliJ build, the compiler that comes with IntelliJ. Okay. That is why we say IntelliJ build system. If I'm using Melvin, it will wrap it, will compile it and run it using Melvin. So it will say, welcome to what? Java class. So we have run our first what? Program in Java. Now let us look at variables. We treated variables, types of variables. We have integer for int. We can say int a is equal to 8. What it means that this int can only treat whole numbers. It does not treat decimal. Is that clear? If you want to treat decimal, you use double. Okay. Double D is equal to 9.876. Then if you want to print, there are some limitations in decimal, maybe 2 decimal place or 1 decimal place. Use float. Float k is equal to, you can use 4.5 f. Yes. Okay. Now we have a car for character. C is equal to, in single quotes, you put R. Just when you want to print one character, use car. We have byte. Byte L is equal to, you can just use 122. The maximum of byte. You know what one byte means in programming. So it has some limitation. Boolean is for testing cases, male, female, yes, no. Boolean, you can put gender, let us say true, okay? You can, or let us say Boolean present. I think that will be present, true. You can have Boolean absent to be false. Then which other one have I? Okay, we can treat long, yes, long height or long distance. Long is double 64-bit decimal place, I think, yes. Long distance is equal to 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. That is it for long. Then short, we have short, yes. Short, U is equal to what? 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, float is a single precision floating point number. It's 16 bits. It is decimals using 16-bit what? Floating point number. That of double treats decimal using what? 32 bits. Then that of long is it treats decimal using what? 64 bits. And that of short is 8 bits. Is that clear? Is that clear? Hello?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now you have character for characters, bytes, and integers. So let us manipulate them now. And remember in Java, Java is what? Case sensitive. If you use capital letter to declare a variable, which is not right, when you want to print it, it must be in the order you define the variable. For instance, now I want to print that integer, which is int a, which is a, and now come and say system dot out dot print line, and I say a, I will have problem. It will not print. Do you see it? Now it's marking red because it say cannot resolve a, create a field a. The system starts reporting that it does not know what this a means. But if I say print a, automatically it recognizes that I want to print what I have in this memory location. All right. Now if I run this, I'll have that my a is 8, right? Okay, let me comment this. If I say that, let us prove this so that you know that this is whole number. Let's declare int b is equal to a divided by 3, which should be the result should be what? In fractions, right? We come here and say print b. You have 2. It should be 2 point something, right? Okay. Now let's change this to double. Double b, 9 divided by 2 should give you around 4 points. Okay. Now if we run it now, We have 4.0. Okay. Now, let us change it to float. Oh, sorry, I made mistake. Double is equal to D, not A.
Where did you define D?
D is here. It's interpreted language. That is why it's showing that. Let me bring it down. Okay. It's equal to D. So let me run it now. I did not print it. So I'll put D. D. That's the problem with this system. I'll have to close this and run it again. Okay. Now I will click on share so that you see my screen. You can see it now, right?
Sorry, your screen is not showing yet.
It's not showing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me try again. Someone has question. You can ask. Is it showing now? It should be showing now.
They're almost.
I think it's on. Okay. Someone has question. Which now? I think someone was yes. Ask. You can ask your question. Which now?
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. I was trying to work on this audio something. I'm trying to unmute myself, so you're telling me that I need to do something.
Okay. All right. Let me run it now.
So now you are running D.
D.
D is the variable that you defined. That's what you are running right now.
I did D. I'm dividing B.
You are running D, which is the variable that you defined.
Oh,
not
wait, hold on. I think I made a mistake. It should be
Yeah.
B, not D.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, because you have already defined D as equals to 9 point something.
Yeah.
Yes, let me run B. Sorry. I understand what you're saying. All right. Let's run it again. You can see we have 4.9388.
Yes.
Okay. And so is
double.
it's double. It handles decimal properly. Then Boolean and long distance, those ones you can manipulate them. Okay. All right. Let us look at, we treated conditional statements, right? But before we go to that, let us look at accepting input from keyboard. If you want to accept input from keyboard, use scanner. Then just like you declare the variable, it can be anything. Let me just put my name here, Nelson is equal to new scanner. You hit enter. Now I ask you to put system.ine. You put system.what? In. You terminate your statement. You must terminate it with semicolon. It's not unlike Python and other language that does not need semicolon. This is where this library is coming from. When you import a library from external source, it automatically use import java.util.scanner. For scanner class, we have import dot. If you come here and write import java dot, you have numerous packages. You have Bean, Applet, AWS. It depends on what you are working. We have a lot of them. So we are using util packager for now. So let's work with this. Now, after declaring this, maybe you want to display a number or you want to display your name. If you want to display a number, let us do that of number. We have not treated string. Now let us write an instruction to tell the user what to do. System.out.println. We can say enter a number. You terminate it. Now, the number can be a double. The person can choose to enter a decimal. Double num is equal to Nelson dot. If you put dot, it has dot byte, dot double, dot int, dot next. Because we are treating double, you use dot next double. This one is telling the compiler that it should treat this thing that the user entered as what? A double, a decimal number. So when you do that, you can print it out. System.out.println. Okay. Now, the print line, you put num, right? You put num, and let's run this program now. I will remove this. Okay, enter a number. If I put 17.90, it prints 17.90. Is that clear? So you can use this thing to do a lot of, to make your code to look more beautiful or your program to look more beautiful. For instance, I entered a number and I want to find the area of a rectangle. I will now put another statement, system.out.println, enter the width. I'll put Nelson dot next double. Now let's change this to length. Enter the length. Okay. Now I'll terminate this. I'll come here and put this a text explaining what we did. Okay. This /n means new line. you should treat this thing, you should push this norm to new line. The area of a rectangle is equal to, I will concatenate it with what? Plus norm. So let's run this program again and see if we get our expected result. All right, enter the length. I will say, let us say 14.8. Enter the width, 6.7. The area is equivalent to 14. No, that's a mistake. The area is equivalent to double. I didn't calculate it. Area is equal to norm times two. Okay, I made mistake, please. So it should be double. Num 2 is equal to Nelson dot next double. So area should be num times num 2, right? That's the formula for area. Now come here and change this to what? Area. All right, let's run it again. You see the difference. Enter the length. Length is 10.5. The width is 3.5. This is the area. You can see the length, you can see the width, you can see the area.
So what you have to do is fix that after that equal to.
Uh,
So that,
what?
I mean, for check the program is just we have it equal to 36.75 altogether. So you make it
Okay, you mean it is closer to,
yeah, you make it safe.
and let's do it again. Okay, length 10.5, width 3.5. I think it's better now. It's better. If you want, you can use concatenation. I don't want to use concatenation. Depends on how you want to do it. Any question? Any question? Eh? All right. Let me do another one. Let's say, for instance, we want to find the, I think area of a circle is pi r squared, right?
So,
Let's create a program to do that. I want to introduce a scenario there. Public static void main string args. Now I have scanner class. I don't want to make it to be, let me call this one KL is equal to new scanner class. The reason why I'm renaming all these things for you to know that there is no default name for this for that variable. So you can name it, you can put anybody's name there. The system dot in in small letter, or it should be capital. Okay. Scanner nm was to sorry, what am I doing? Double and what you need is the reduce. Or should I should give information system dot out your print line enter your reduce. Okay. Now you can see that one there, double reduce equals to KL dot next double. Now to get pi, you have double area is equal to math dot. We have different classes in math class, a library. So I want to use math.py and in bracket multiply by in bracket math yes dot power of r raised to power 2. Yes, of reduce, not r. I was wondering what happened. Reduce raised to power 2, reduce comma raised to power 2. I will terminate the statement. Okay.
Okay.
So system dot out dot print line the area of the circle let me leave it this way slash n equal to plus or let me just remove this and use the other one, you put area. Okay. Plus area. All right. I think we have a neater code now. If you run this, for instance, I use the radius to be 3. Only just say radius is 2. Okay. Then you have that the area of a circle is 12 points. Is by if you make the calculation, you verify if this is correct. 2 raised to power 2 is 4, right? Multiplied by 3.14, right? It will give you this. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. We have other math library. For instance, I can look for absolute value of a number, int absolute value is equal to math dot abs of -2. It returns the positive number of any negative number. It returns the positive number of any negative number. So I will comment this out so that later you can have the code and write it on your own. Okay, if I run this now, you can see that the absolute value of 3 is what? 2. We have a lot of them. If you want to raise a number, maybe math of power, you can make it raised to power 3, raised to power 4. You want to find the square root of a number, double square root.
Yeah.
Square root. You can say math dot square root sqrt of, let us say, 100. It should return 10. All right. I'll comment this thing again. Okay, let's run it. You can see that the square root is 10. Square root of 100 is what? 10. All right. Another thing I want us to look at, maybe later you can read more about Math Library and experiment with them. Another thing I want us to look at is comment. Comment is very, very important. It helps the programmer, it helps other programmers to understand what you are doing in your program, and also it helps you to understand the progress of your work. For instance, you're working on a project and along the line, you feel tired. You come back the next day to continue where you stopped for. You might forget what you have been doing, but with the help of comments, you can at least understand what you are doing. For instance, if I say, I declared a variable to be what? Of double precision type. I should at least know that what I did here is that I added a variable. I declared a variable square root to be what? Of double precision type. But you, as it stands now, you will think it is irrelevant. But when it comes to creating complex applications, you see the need for what? Comment. This one is known as what? Single line comment. We have multiple line comments, like the one I did here. This is a multiple line comment. Okay, there is one that is used for Java documentation. It's under what? I think we have 3, but that one is under multiple line comment, but it is used for what? Java documentation. When you want to generate documentation about your program, you use that comment. So that is all for variable and variable declaration. We move over to conditional statement. We have if statement. We have if else statement. We have if else if statement. So we call it conditional statement. So I will treat this one so far so that we move over to the next one. Okay.
Okay.
Now, public static void main string args. Now I have int height or age equal to 17. Let me use if statement. If age is greater than or equal to 18. System dot out dot print line. System dot out dot print line. Okay. You are qualified. Then if is less than 18, you are not qualified. Okay, this is a simple program that checks the age of a person. If this person is equal to or greater than 18 years, the person is qualified. We don't know what he's qualified for. Okay. If the person is less than 18, it is not, he or she is not what qualified. If you run this program, I think we will get that the person is not qualified. That is what will be the answer. Let's wait for the compiler to build the program. So it says you are not qualified. If I put 20 years and run it again, okay. You can see that the person is qualified here. All right. Let us
That's for if conditional statement.
any question? See, someone wants to ask a question. Let me check. Any
No,
question?
I said that's for if now conditional statement.
Yes, yes. All right. I'll comment this. We'll do that of okay. Let's use if else. If the person's age is strictly greater than or equal to 18, and you can put system.out.print line qualified. Instead of writing if less than 18, you can do it this way, else the person is not qualified. That's all. That is for if else. So if you run this, you will still get the same answer. Okay, you are qualified. Then lastly, before I go over to the next one, you can use if age is greater than 18, else if age is less than 18, else the person is not qualified. You can see the difference. Here, we have this to be this, if there is no else. Here we have if, we have else. But here we have if, we have else if, and we have else. What this means, we call this nested if statements. Nested what? If statement. It will still give you the same result, but this one is more efficient compared to other um, other types of conditional statements. Any question on this? All right. Let's move over to looping, loop class. You know what a loop is? A conditional test executes a statement until it becomes false. That is when it can stop executing instruction. All right. If I say int a is equal to 3. Now let me use for loop, the popular one we know. And I say for int I equal to 0, initialize it to be 0, and I is strictly less than 10. And let us put I is less than 5. You can increment I. Where's the problem coming from? Hold on, I'm coming. Something is wrong with this. I is equal to 0, number 1. I is strictly less than A, number 2. Shouldn't be. Who is asking question? Who is did I mute you?
All right, better now. Someone said you should check the public static main void main. It is not
Okay.
better. Okay, yes, it's true. Yeah, that's the array, right?
Thank you. Thank you, Jade. Now, I was wondering what's going on. Okay. Let's see if it's going to print hello world. Thank you. I was wondering where I made a mistake. Any other question?
No, but the system. Okay, let's run it.
Okay, you can run it. You are free to run it. Okay, let me view the code. You can see it's showing hello world. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Should be 10 times. Okay, run it and tell me what you get. Even though I'm going to deploy the code, I will push it on GitHub for you to see it with time. All right, let me run on that one. I think we have enhanced for loop. Let's see if it will work. Let's say int b is equal to 5 for each, not for. Yes, for each. I equals to 0. Int I is equal to 0. And I is strictly less than or equal to 5. Increment I. All right. We can print hi there. So that's the program. This is for each loop.
Is
What?
you only wrote for, not for each.
A mistake. I
Or
forgot to
maybe it's not working, but we have for each loop. Maybe.
Yeah.
check your system
We
out.
have we have for maybe it's not working in Java, but we have for each loop. Those in C in JavaScript should know. Maybe it's not working. Let's leave it. Okay. we have for each loop.
So normally bring for each loop if you try to type it.
No, okay, don't worry. I don't know. The compiler
Like a
issue.
graphic.
All right. This is still for loop. So let me just delete it. Let us look at while loop. While is the same thing as for loop. So if you say while a is less than 10, or while a is less than 20, because if you say it's less than 10 and decrement, there will be issue. It's less than 20. Let's use less than 10. Okay. System dot out dot print line. You put this is while loop. You increment first. All right. Okay, this guy has left this thing. All right. What is wrong with my code? My system is becoming slower these days.
It's telling you that you need a new system.
My brother. Okay. I don't know. My system is having any question? Because I want to stop now. I'm supposed to go somewhere. Maybe in the night we'll continue.
Yeah, of course, we'll do it tonight more.
Eh?
Yeah, I also want us to also do more night. And then that or even at night if you help us to explain more on that assignment, like what and
The
what.
assignment.
Yeah.
The design pattern.
Yeah, everything we are expected to do. I need to
In
close
the
some
night
things
when
down.
we finish, I'm trying to see how we summarize everything because everybody still has a long way to go. You have not done array, you have not done linked list and tree. So these three you will do it before you go into that design pattern. So maybe tomorrow or next tomorrow we'll look at design pattern. Because after array linked list, you do inheritance. They have taught you inheritance. You can read and practice that one. So the array linked list is very, very important.
Okay.
All right. Any other
What I'm,
question?
what I'm
Nene,
saying,
Yes.
any question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask something. Is it only scanner that you use to import libraries in Java?
Is it for accepting keyboard?
Yes.
We have J option pane for GUI. That will be, let's put it, later when we finish, we do GUI small, then we'll go back to console because people don't normally use swing GUI. So that is a G option. We have G option pane. You can browse more about it. It's just a small dialog box that comes out, but it's no longer being used because it's old. That Fade is not beautiful. You understand? And the processes involved is very high, so it's very long, so people don't use it. We have G option pane. For console, is scanner class for now. Uchen, I wanted to ask a question.
No, well, let's say that here the
Uh,
assignment that I wrote to submit. So though I know will never start and go like
okay, you want us to treat those patterns one after the other.
explain how the assignment will be like what you're expected to do in all areas. Like,
Maybe with time we'll meet up. I think we have enough time this week. No
yeah.
class, and with time meet up. I understand with time we'll meet up. Peter,
Yes?
any question?
No question, none. All that although you have not finished anything in this while loop, I would have just
No, my
placed that.
system is hanging now.
Okay, don't worry. Maybe in our next class, I will have question.
Tonight now, tonight.
Maybe in the night you figure it out.
Okay, no problem. I think maybe I will post these things maybe on YouTube and send the link to you people.
Hey, yeah, save the video.
Okay. Bye now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, brother.